What's up, YouTube? It's Ken again. Thank you for visiting the channel. I actually had 3 different jobs planned for this video, but I think what I'm going to do is make the star of this show, in this video in particular, this broken bolt that caused me about 2 days worth of headache. And I hope, beyond hope, that what I'm sharing here helps someone else out there, or you just find it entertaining and informative. But there was a bad torque setting at play that ultimately caused this from watching another video. So just to give you the moral of the story right up front, be careful what torque settings you trust. I'm all about torque settings, but yeah, this took so much of my time that I can't get back. I did learn a lot, so there's that, but I really hope it doesn't happen to you. Because the other thing is, if I wasn't successful in extracting this bolt, which I did do so successfully here, this could have led me down a rabbit hole that would have cost, if not hundreds, maybe even $1,000, or at least that much equivalent in my labor cost, in my time. Because sometimes when you're trying to extract a broken bolt, you can end up damaging, in this case, the aluminum that it sits into. And just depending on the circumstance, the fix for that can just be an even bigger headache. So all of that said, let's start off with what actually broke, which is this bolt right here, the bolt that goes to the VVT solenoid on a 2005 Honda Odyssey EXL. This is sometimes also referred to as the spool valve, and on that vintage of Odyssey, it sits in the back right or the rear right side, driver's side of the engine bay. And it's easy to get to. You just take off a few different components and it mounts, I'm trying to think of the exact orientation. I want to say something like this, right up against the block. Now, as mentioned, I followed a YouTube video that had a bad torque setting for this. The torque setting that they cited was 16 foot-pounds. I don't know if that's actually the torque setting in like a shop manual or something, but I will tell you, at least in my own experience, for me, I am not using that torque setting going forward. I'm gonna get this finger tight, and then I'm planning on taking just a 1/4 inch ratchet, choking up on it, and getting that tight, and I'm gonna call it a day. This was a pain in the neck to get out. It basically sat flush, right where this meets here. It was flush in the engine block. Just pretend this is the engine block. It was like right there. So you couldn't get a vice grip on it. You couldn't get needle nose pliers on it. Nothing like that would work. There was a shoulder it was kind of sitting in, where there was a little space around it, but it wasn't enough space to do anything with. Now, I'll just kind of walk through my thought process with the whole thing. At first, looking at YouTube videos, I thought about taking a diamond bit, which you see right there, on a rotary tool. I bought the diamond bit at Harbor Freight. This is the set that I bought, and there's the item number right there. Now, that might have actually worked, but because this was basically flush with the engine block, it was really hard to use that little wand and carve out a notch, because my idea was to use a flathead screwdriver, which is here, to carve out a notch and then basically, you know, put that on there and twist it off. Because this broke because of a bad torque setting and I just over torqued it, that meant that it wasn't seized in there, so I knew it was going to come out somewhat easily, or at least I hoped it did. And it did ultimately, but that might have worked actually if I could have found a way to notch that. If there was enough protruding but you just couldn't get a vice grip on it, you might be able to use it kind of sideways like this. I'm not recommending this, I'm just saying I thought about it and it seemed to actually work pretty well for my case on this test bolt here, the other side that broke, when I had it in the vise. But because it was broken off flush, I couldn't do that. So with the rotary tool not an option, the next thing I thought of doing was to weld, because this bolts into what I believe is an aluminum plate that sits up against the upper portion of the valve assembly area. And that might have worked fine, but there's a fuel line over there. There's just, of course, it's oily. I did not like that as an idea, and I just didn't think it'd be safe, but I was really tempted to try it. But here's the other thing too, I have no welding experience. So I could have followed a YouTube video and maybe had success with that, but more I thought about it, and if you know, the rotary tool isn't going to work, I basically decided, no, welding's not a safe option, so I need to just move on to something else. And ultimately I used what a lot of people jump to immediately, which is the extractor set here. Now, I had actually bought these off of Amazon a long time ago. I didn't end up using this though, because this bolt was important enough to me to where I didn't want one of these possibly breaking off. And I don't know the quality of these, but I don't think that they're cobalt. Whereas this kit right here from Irwin, I believe is. I bought it off Amazon. I'll throw a link in the description. And I believe these are 8% cobalt. So I don't know about the left-handed drill bits, but it seemed to imply that the extractors at least were. So that gave me a little bit more confidence that these weren't going to break on me, because again, I didn't want that to happen. Now, the only other solution I thought of before turning to the extractors, I'll just very briefly mention, was to take something like a screwdriver and put a hammer at the back of it and just try and bite into the bolt and turn it, because I figured if I could get it even started, I could take like a magnet against it or something and just twist and it would, you know, unscrew. Or maybe I could get some micro pliers in there to, you know, get it cranked. But I did try that, and while there was enough room for me to try and do that, I couldn't get it to budge. So while a decent idea, that one didn't end up working. More I thought about it, and here's another thing, really important. When I first broke the bolt, I knew immediately I gotta walk away. I was so upset. I was upset that I had let myself do that, because ultimately what I used was this 3/8 inch torque wrench, because it was the only one in my kit. I have multiple torque wrenches. It was the only one that had a 16 foot-pound setting. And you can see that's what it's locked into right there, 16. I don't know how well that shows up on camera. But I knew better. I knew that that wasn't a good idea in the back of my mind, but I wanted so badly to trust a torque setting. And so I was upset that I had trusted a torque setting over my gut. I was upset that I had followed a YouTube video and been led astray. And I was just, it was just a bad feeling, because I knew what time this was going to take to not only research it, but to try and get it out. And I knew the ramifications of screwing this up and messing up the threads, and then having to either replace the piece that this sits in front of, or using something like a helicoil to, you know, drill out the entirety of that hole and rethread it. I didn't want to mess with any of that. I was so upset that such a simple and easy job just turned into a nightmare. I walked away. I highly recommend, if you have the time to do that, walk away. Go away, come back to the project another day. If you have the time, or at least give yourself time to walk away and really let your brain chew on it. Let yourself think about the problem, because that's where I came up with wanting to try that, and try the chisel idea, and look into the welding. And I basically just continued to rule things out. And I thought too about having a professional do this. I called around, I got some quotes. A couple shops didn't even want to touch it. One shop, one gentleman did, but he wanted 300 bucks for it. That's a lot of money for a little bolt. It would have been worth it, honestly, because the plate that this sits in front of would have probably taken, I don't know, 8, 9, 10 hours of my time to replace. And that's assuming I even did it all correctly. It was a very involved process. And thankfully, it wasn't like the top head of the engine block alone. It was just a piece that you could replace. That may not be the case in your situation, whatever it is that you're working on. So anyway, walking away, letting yourself chew on it, think about your options, and just know that whatever you do might affect your overall outcome. So in other words, if you chew up the bolt trying like the chisel method, or trying to put a slot in it, or trying to drill it especially, that's it. That's your option. I mean, maybe you could go behind that with a weld or something. There's always a fix, right? So give yourself time to take a mental breather and not be upset, because at least speaking for myself, when I'm upset, I don't make the best rational decisions, or at least I think that I have a proclivity to not make the most rational decisions. It's probably human nature, right? So I'm really glad I did that. It actually took a couple days to get the diamond bits, to get the set that I actually ordered off of Amazon, to get it here, because again, I wanted a high quality set. And my Uncle Jay, shout out to him, came over and helped me with this whole ordeal twice. We worked within our schedules. We had a lot going on, both of us. And thank you again so much, Uncle Jay, if you're watching this. Huge help. Just, you know, having someone there with you for moral support, if nothing else, is a godsend. It's awesome. Anyway, especially because I don't have experience with this. You know, I've not broken off a lot of bolts. I don't live in the upper Northeast where this is like a common occurrence, where rust is an issue and things like that. We have a little rust here, but it's not that bad. Anyway, I'm going to walk you through the process that I used to get this out, just in case you followed that same video, or you found that same torque setting and you did that same thing that I did. You might have it broken off in another one of the two holes, but process might help you out and might be the same. Okay, so what we did, I basically mounted this back up using these back two bolts, and I just got them finger tight. I also bought new bolts, by the way, all three, because I figured that I probably over torqued those two as well, put pressure on them that I shouldn't have. So I have new bolts ready to go, but I used the old bolts just for this that were still good. I got this on there, just finger tight, and I used this channel as a guide, and I used, I believe it was this number 4 left-handed drill bit, and I put it down in that hole And I had my drill right here. I had this at setting 1 and speed 6. This is just a Milwaukee Fuel M12. I used this because it was the smallest drill I had to get into that tight space. Maybe if you have an air compressor drill, that might be a little smaller even, but there wasn't a lot of room back there either. So I needed this instead of my big Ryobi. The Ryobi might have fit too, I don't know, but I immediately went to this because it was smaller. And that was the highest speed I ever went with. I did not go any higher than 6 on setting 1, and this worked just fine. I used that big drill bit and again, this is situational for me. That big drill bit, you can see, I don't know if you can see it well on camera, this is way bigger than this bolt, okay? So the reason we did this was because there was a shoulder, because there was space. It was almost like this right here. There was space around that bolt that this drill bit could go right into, and it wasn't going to damage the aluminum or anything like that around it. We just wanted to kiss that bolt, the end of that bolt, and clean it up. Get it a little bit more flat because it had some peaks and valleys and things like that in it. And we just wanted it flat to be able to center punch it better. And so I did that for 15 seconds of drilling, maybe not even that much, because that shoulder only went down so far. And then it was aluminum that we didn't want to hit. So we only had a little tiny bit to go. So again, 15 seconds of that low speed drilling, that just cleaned it up to where we were able to use this set right here. Here's the part number. And in particular, we used this punch right here out of that set to just center punch it and give a nice little dimple into the bolt that we could use to start drilling. Now, for starters, we use the very smallest left-handed drill bit. Put your drill in reverse, don't forget that. It has to be in reverse with the left-handed bit. And we just put it right against the bolt as perpendicular as we could get it, and we started drilling. Now, notice, I don't know if this will focus super well, that hole is not perfect. It's close, but it's not perfect. And close but not perfect matters depending on how tight the bolt's in there if you're using this method. But it was good enough and it worked just fine. I got this bit maybe about this far in, I'm guessing. I don't know exactly. It felt like it was about that far in. And then I pulled it out and I used the next highest numbered bit, which is number 2 in the set, and just put it again as perpendicular as I could against that original hole and pushed it right against it. Same speed, no difference in speed or anything like that. And then started turning it. Started drilling, and it didn't take long at all. It caught it and pulled it right out. Hallelujah. There are few better feelings in the world than getting a broken bolt out. It is completely euphoric. I mean, wow. Talk about a dopamine rush, because you just, like, all of it flashes through my head, you know, like, oh gosh, I just saved myself all that time, all that money, all that heartache. Is my engine going to be the same again? None of that ever applied. The bolt's out, threads are fine, it's a win. I hope you have the same outcome if you have a similar situation. Oh, and one thing I forgot, I actually forgot this on the littlest bit, but I put some WD-40 onto the bolt. I just sprayed it, you know, against the bit just to give it a little bit of lubrication. I don't know if WD-40 is the best product to use. I saw a couple people recommending it. I'm sure there are products for cutting bolts or cutting into metal specifically, but this is what I had on hand and what I felt, you know, was going to work well in this case. I wasn't too worried about getting the very best thing. These were brand new bits, and I do want to protect their longevity, don't get me wrong, but a good idea to use lubricant all the same. Another note too, while we use this as a guide to smooth out the bolt, we didn't drill with that on. I thought about it, I was going to, but it came out so cleanly that I never felt that I needed that guide. Had we needed to go deeper, maybe put an extractor in, I might have still used this to just help center everything and keep it center. Anyway, I really hope this helps someone out there that's going through this dilemma. If you've just broken the bolt, especially if it's a small one like this, it's not seized in there, I would expect that it will probably come out just as easily as mine did, and drilling it out might not be a bad idea. Thanks to the Audi Club members who suggested that and suggested I not weld in this case. You guys were right. Kudos to you. I really appreciate you. But yeah, I mean, at least for me, I'm going to be careful with torque settings, and I would hate to advise someone not to use them, but definitely make sure that they're right. If you really want to use a torque setting, it's important to really make sure it's from a trusted source. And then if other people say, hey, I used that torque setting, it might have been the right one, but I snapped the bolt, think about the worst possible outcome. In this case, if this leaks oil and I just neglect it for a long time because it's not tight enough, well, it might leak low enough to where it just survives until the next oil change. And then I fill it back up and there's no harm, no foul. Maybe I lose a half quart of oil or something like that. If it leaks really bad, okay, maybe your engine could blow. That's possible. But once you repair it, you know, and you check it, in my mind, I could be dead wrong on this. Post in the comments below what your thoughts are if you differ. But get the engine started after you're done with your repair, validate everything, make sure it's not actually leaking. And if it's not, I have a hard time believing that it's going to. Maybe keep an eye on it for the first week or two of nominal use, you know? I just have a hard time believing it's gonna loosen up over time, that those bolts are gonna back out. If you've got it tight enough, hand tighten then a little more. That rule of thumb seems to work really well for me. I'm not advocating for that. Use your own judgment, whatever you're comfortable with, but I just really hope people are spared the heartache I went through getting this little bolt out. Anyway, it's time that I put the van back together, and I think I might even try and frame this just as a reminder and a memento so that I don't do this again in the future. So with that in mind, I'm going to end the video here. If you found this content entertaining or helpful, please consider giving me a thumbs up. Please do also consider subscribing so that you see more content from me. And as always, please do feel free to share your thoughts in the comment section below. I learn a lot from the comments you guys give, and I'm sure other people do too. So please don't be shy. All right, thanks for watching, everyone. Peace.